At the seventh gate, the Queen of Heaven had only one symbol of power left, her garment of ladyship. The crown was gone, the lapis beads were gone, the golden ring was gone. Even the measuring rod and line, the instruments that made authority visible, had been taken from her hands. Now the Underworld demanded the garment too. Inanna asked the same question she had asked at every gate. What is this? And the answer was always the same. The rites of the Underworld had been fulfilled. She was not permitted to protest. She had entered as one of the most powerful deities in ancient Mesopotamia. But beyond these doors, her power could not change the law. And losing everything was not the darkest part of the bargain. Because Inanna would return. Someone else would have to pay for it. This story survives in Sumerian on clay tablets, copied during the Old Babylonian period. The version we read today is a composite, reconstructed from many damaged witnesses, not a single perfect book preserved through time. Its opening does not show a helpless victim being dragged below. It shows Inanna making a decision. From the great above, she sets her mind on the great below. She leaves heaven, she leaves earth, she leaves her temples and cities. Then she gathers 7 divine powers and dresses for the journey. On her head, a turban associated with the open country. Around her neck, small lapis lazuli beads. Across her breast, ornaments and a pectoral whose name is translated as, "Come man, come." On her hand, a golden ring. In her grip, a lapis measuring rod and measuring line. Over her body, the pala dress, the garment of ladyship. These are not random decorations. The poem calls them divine powers. They make status, attraction, office, and command visible. But Inanna does something else before approaching the land of no return. She plans for failure. She tells her faithful minister, Ninshubur, to wait. If Inanna does not return, Ninshubur must mourn publicly, beat the drum, visit the houses of the gods, plead first with Enlil. If he refuses, go to Nana. If he refuses, go to Enki. Inanna even predicts which god will understand how to restore her. This is not a journey made in ignorance. She knows death is possible. What she may not understand is that resurrection will not cancel the law she is about to cross. At the palace called Ganzer, Inanna pounds on the gate and demands entry. The gatekeeper Neti asks who she is, and why the Queen of Heaven has taken the road whose traveler never returns. Inanna gives an answer. Gud Galana, husband of her elder sister Ereshkigal, has died. She says she has come for his funeral rites. But the poem will later place that answer under suspicion. When Ninshubur begs the gods to save her, 2 of them will accuse Inanna of craving not only the great above, but the great below as well. Was the funeral her true purpose? Was it a diplomatic explanation? Or did Inanna intend to extend her authority into the one realm she did not possess? The ancient poem does not reduce her to one clean motive. That uncertainty is part of its power. Ereshkigal hears that her sister has arrived wearing the 7 divine powers. She gives Neti an order. Bolt all 7 gates, then open them separately, and at every threshold, remove something. At the first gate, Neti removes Inanna's turban. What is this? Do not speak against the rights of the Underworld. At the second gate, he takes the small lapis beads from her neck. At the third, the twin ornaments from her breast. At the fourth, the pectoral. At the fifth, the golden ring. At the sixth, the lapis measuring rod and measuring line. At the seventh, the garment of ladyship. The surviving manuscripts do not agree perfectly on every detail. One witness introduces an additional removal of the rod and line earlier in the sequence. That matters, because this is not a story recovered from one untouched tablet. It is a literary work rebuilt from fragments copied by different scribes. The movement is unmistakable. Gate by gate, the visible grammar of Inanna's power is dismantled. Modern readers often turn the gates into a neat symbolic system. 7 stages of ego death, 7 psychological wounds, even 7 chakras. The ancient text does not say that. What it does show is more concrete, and perhaps more disturbing. Inanna enters a jurisdiction where her own signs of authority have no force. The underworld does not argue with her power. It makes her surrender the objects through which that power can be recognized. Stripped of her regalia, Inanna enters the throne room. And then she does something that prevents us from seeing her only as a victim. She makes Ereshkigal rise. Inanna sits on the throne of the underworld. For one impossible moment, the Queen of Heaven occupies the seat of the Queen below. Then the 7 Anuna, the judges, render their decision. Their look is death. Their speech is anger. Their shout is heavy guilt. Inanna becomes a corpse. The poem says her body is hung on a hook. 3 days and 3 nights pass. The world above still contains all the titles Inanna once carried, but none of them can reach her now. Only the plan she left with someone else can do that. Ninshubur remembers every instruction. She mourns. She beats the drum. She enters the house of Enlil and begs him not to let Inanna be destroyed in the dirt of the underworld. Enlil refuses. Inanna craved the great above, he says, and she craved the great below. Whoever takes the powers of the underworld must remain there. Ninshubur goes to Nana. He gives the same refusal. The repetition transforms the question. This is no longer simply, can Inanna be saved? It is, should she be saved from a consequence she knowingly invited? Then Ninshubur reaches Enki. Enki does not deny the law. He finds a way through it. From dirt beneath his fingernails, Enki creates the Kurjara and the Galatura. He gives them the life-giving plant and life-giving water. He tells them to pass through the underworld like flies, slipping through the pivots of its doors. But their most important instruction is not about magic. It is about Ereshkigal. They find the queen of the underworld in anguish. When she cries, they answer her cry. When she expresses pain, they name that pain with her. They do not challenge her. They do not flatter her. They do not overpower death. They pay attention. Calling this empathy is a modern interpretation, but it describes the strange logic of the scene. Recognition succeeds where force would fail. Ereshkigal offers them a gift. They ask for the corpse hanging on the hook. They sprinkle it with the life-giving plant and life-giving water. Inanna rises. This looks like victory. It is not freedom. No one leaves the underworld without satisfying its claim. If Inanna returns, another must descend in her place. The demons travel with her to find a substitute. They first see Ninshubur, still dressed in mourning. Take her, they say. Inanna refuses. Ninshubur followed every instruction. She mourned. She pleaded. Her loyalty began the rescue. They encounter others who have humbled themselves in grief. Again, Inanna refuses. Then she reaches Dumuzi. He is not sitting in dust. He is not dressed as a mourner. The poem presents him richly clothed and seated in splendor. Inanna fixes on him the same terrible gaze that condemned her below. Take him. Related Sumerian compositions continue and complicate Dumuzi's fate. His sister Geshtinanna, pursuit, lament, and alternating time below belong to a wider tradition. But the reversal here is already complete. Inanna returns because Ninshubur remembered her. She remains above because the cost is transferred to someone else. Centuries of Mesopotamian scribal tradition did not preserve this story unchanged. A later Akkadian composition tells of Ishtar's descent. It shares the journey below and the sequence of gates, but changes important details, language, emphasis, and consequences. That later version should not be pasted over the Sumerian poem as if both were identical. Their differences reveal something better. Ancient mythology was not a frozen canon. Stories moved between languages, cities, centuries, and political worlds. Scribes inherited them and reshaped them. At the beginning, the question was what remained of Inanna when every symbol of power was removed. The answer was not purity. It was consequence. Her crown could not command the underworld. Her jewels could not purchase exemption. Her office could not silence its judges. Even resurrection could not erase its law. Power could bring Inanna back, but it could not cancel the price. It could only move that price onto someone else. And that is why the descent is more unsettling than a simple story of death and rebirth. Inanna survives. The bargain survives with her. So what do you think drove her into the land of no return? Courage? Ambition? Or the belief that consequences were rules made for lesser beings? Tell us which moment changed your answer. And if you want to follow the person who made Inanna's return possible, our next short story begins with Ninshubur, waiting above while the Queen of Heaven does not come home. This episode is based primarily on the Sumerian composition Inanna's Descent to the Netherworld, reconstructed from multiple ancient manuscript witnesses. Later Akkadian versions differ in important ways. Modern symbolic readings have been identified as interpretation rather than claims made by the ancient text.